done it this way yet.
It says we're streaming live.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like we should be live somewhere.
Yes.
Meeting now streaming live on YouTube.
Oh, it's still loading on my screen.
You know, we may be piloting YouTube as a streaming service for youth next year.
Oh, really?
Yes, games.
We're about to be live. If any of that's top secret.
No, well, no. Or for the opponents, if they're travelling from out of state, that they don't have to travel. They can see their child play.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We are live.
How are we looking? Good.
We are, but there's like an echo, so okay. All right, we still good?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Well, cheers, everyone. I am Amy Mitchell with Houses of Windsor, and this is Virtual Tea Time with Amy. And today I have two special guests, very special guests. It's a welcome British invasion. So I have Mr. Nick Grounds and Laura Halfpenny. I love your last name.
You could say it that way.
Thank you.
Halfpenny.
Halfpenny.
Sounds like you're burping.
That's hilarious. So, okay, so for starters, I'll share what tea we're drinking. I'm actually going with a lemon and ginger today. No caffeine at the moment. I've already had my caffeine earlier. And I'm calling from Orlando, Florida. So, Laura, what are you drinking and where are you?
I'm in Sanford, Florida, so a good 20-30 minutes northeast of where you are. And even though I have a coffee mug, I have my peppermint tea, which is usually my evening tea. But I thought I'd break it out a little earlier today, as I too have had my fair share of caffeine.
Yes. Very nice. And Nick, how about you?
Me, I'm drinking a Japanese green tea.
Oh, very nice. And where are you calling from?
From Apopka, Florida, which is about 20 miles north west.
Okay. Right.
Northwest of Orlando.
Okay, wonderful. So, I know, I should ask, where are each of you originally from? Where are your accents from?
I'll go first. Both myself and my accent. We are from, I was raised in Worcestershire, England, where the source is from. Mm-hmm. A little tiny village called Bewdley, which it's a very idyllic Georgian town with black and white houses and a river that runs through it. And it's famous for its safari park, and you can literally hear the lions in the morning roaring.
Wow.
And it's about 20-30 miles southwest of Birmingham, where I was actually born. I was born in the city of Birmingham.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Many moons ago.
And Nick, how about you? Where are you and your accent from?
I was actually born in Worcester. And, I grew up in London and then moved out to Essex, which is east of London, when I was 6, and lived there most of the time until we moved to the States.
Okay. And so how long have each of you been in the States now?
Laura?
I got here in 97 as a student, college student, and bar about an 8 to 10 month period in 2005 due to some visa challenges. I've been here since then, so more than half my life.
Yeah, awesome. And Nick?
I first came to the States in 1980.
Okay.
And then finally, that's when I was at Chase Bank, and then moved over permanently in 1988.
Okay, very nice. So now I wanted to ask you just a little bit about your backgrounds professionally and what you are currently doing. So who wants to go first?
I'll go. Ladies first.
That's right.
That's so English. So I came here in 97. I was a football player, a soccer player. I went to college in Boston, Massachusetts, where I played at university up there. And right after graduating, I went into coaching the sport, collegiate level and then youth level. And I traveled a little bit from the East Coast. And then I settled here about 8 years ago now, 2012 in Orlando. as part of Orlando City Youth Soccer, which is the youth club that's affiliated with what we know as the MLS club now, the Orlando City Soccer Club, and the Orlando Pride, which is the women's version. And I'm the executive director, so I am. I say I'm everything off the field. So I handle all the business operations, finances, legal, human resources, all of the stuff that a business needs to operate, and so that the kids can have fun and play, and the coaches can coach.
Wow.
So kind of
So how is that work out? Because you were coaching, right? You used to be on the field?
I used to be on the field up until, gosh, I want to say it was 2015. Yeah. And I had one of those moments where, you only have so many time in the day, right? And I had started a master's degree in MBA, and I was struggling to find time. And so I had to give something up. And so I couldn't give up my full-time job, which at the time was general manager of Orlando City. So I had to give up the coaching in the evening. So I was coaching about 3 times a week and then weekends. And so I had to donate that time to my studies. And about 2 years later, I never went back. And never went back to on-field coaching. I just loved what I was doing, and I could make a greater impact at the level I'm now at the executive level, on the lives of those kids and the families. So I never went back. I do miss it. People ask me, do you miss it? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Something.
Yeah. And then Nick, how about you? What's your background?
Me, I've been in finance most of my life. I was in banking for 10 years in London and New York. Then I was a broker on Wall Street for 30 years, mainly concentrating on cross-currency arbitrage. And I had a group of banks in Ireland that I took care of their portfolios. And then in 2010, when the Dodd-Frank bill completely ruined everybody's careers, we decided I'd leave that profession behind. And we moved down to Florida. My wife Kathy's parents are in Merritt Island, which is about 75 miles east of where we are, on the coast. And we settled in the Orlando area. And then I was in finance, in financial advisor for about 6 years. And now for the last 3 years, I've been president and executive director of the British American Chamber of Commerce for Central Florida.
Which is a nice long name.
Well, we now call it the BACC.
I know. I like to just call it the British Chamber, and I tell people they can't make me say American. So that sort of leads me to how I know you guys.
For the American of the British American.
That's right. Yeah. Like I'm the one with the flag without the accent. So for those of you watching who haven't heard me say this before or don't remember, I'm what is called an Anglophile. So my business has basically come out of that, me being like a 20-year long Anglophile. And so when I joined BNI, which I've discussed before, the Business Networking International, and it was the financial planner in my group, Michael Speed. I was having a chat with him, and he was like, I think I know like the president of like some British American chamber or something in Orlando. And I was like, what is this? I need to know more. So Michael put me in touch with you, Nick. And you were kind enough. Yes. Yeah, you were kind enough to invite me. Luckily, it was like there was an event happening just like a couple days after we talked or something. And that was out at, what was it? That was the Golf Channel, right? ESPN.
Yeah.
So, yes, and I know I chatted with you there, Laura, because you told me some of the funniest stories. I remember laughing a lot. But yeah, so needless to say, it should be obvious, I joined the British American Chamber of Commerce and am now on the board as well, which is a huge honor. Honor with a U at the end. And so we wanted to have a little chat here and take it live with my virtual tea time and talk a little bit about the chamber. And let's see. So I guess, Nick, do you want to give a brief history explanation of like?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
The chamber's been around coming up for 30 years.
Okay.
And like a lot of chambers, they have ups and downs and ebbs and flows depending on who's in charge and stuff like that. Well, back in early 2017, the chamber wasn't in a particularly good way. And a group of people asked me if I'd take it over, which I did. And we then sort of changed the whole outlook of what I considered a chamber to be, because I thought that the chambers, as a generality, had become a bit dinosaurish. They hadn't moved with the times. You know, coffee mornings with a commissioner really didn't cut it. You know, and people wanted more value for whatever they were doing, and businesses wanted more value for their time. You know, they didn't want us hanging around, you know, because small businesses, their busiest time of the day is from the minute they wake up to the minute they go to sleep. And they don't want to take 2 hours out of their day for something that hasn't got really a purpose. So we recreated the purpose. We've got a nice group of businesses joined us. And we then looked at another scheme of how to give a benefit to the members, because people are going, what do I get for my money? And so most cases it was untangible. So we became the only chamber in Florida, and maybe many other states, but I've only looked at Florida, that gives a benefit package with membership. And it's a fairly unique thing. And, you know, we've now, obviously, the last couple of months have been a bit tough, because we really are a networking and event-based thing.
Right.
But we double use the acronym of BACC as building authentic community connections. And really that is where I think our purpose is, and that's where I want the direction to go. Because I think that's what people want. You know, it's not just socializing, because anybody can arrange 12 people to have fish and chips down the patio.
Right.
That's not a tough. But it's what's the purpose of why we get together? You know, how are we going to promote business? And you can do that in a social way as well, but it's through recommendations, it's through everybody working for the good of the organization. I know that sounds a bit philosophical, but you know, Aristotle's and you know,
greater good.
but no, it's for the good of the community, and I think that thriving business is good for the community. So my job really as the president and executive director is that if I make or can help the members' business better and flourish, it's good for everybody. So about 18 months ago, or coming up for 2 years now, I actually was asked to take on the role of executive director on a full-time basis, which in one way is great, because it means that my pure job is to make sure that the businesses involved are successful. Right. And I don't have any skin in the game. I don't take commissions. I'm not looking after that. So therefore, the more businesses that are successful, the more they're going to tell other businesses, and then we can work it that way. And that's how you grow it organically.
Yeah, and that's great. Thank you. And Laura, how long have you been in the chamber?
Oh, well, Nick and I met within a week of me coming down here in 2012. We were both soccer is a love of ours, football. We were sitting at Seminole Soccer Club, where I am, Orlando City Youth, and Nick was.
We actually met at Middlebury.
We did meet in Vermont. We actually realised when we moved down here, we'd met before. We knew some same people in the north, and so we found this natural connection. Of course, we're both British, and we're both.
Right.
And Nick was coaching a little bit, and And so that was 2012. At some point, I want to say, Nick, it was like 2014 or 15 that you started to get me involved in some of the, I would come to some of the events, and then 2017, as you had mentioned, there was the kind of the rebirth occurred post that. And so that's when I, like you, Amy, I said, okay, I believe in this cause and building authentic connections. I really felt it's very missing from the business community. And I said, okay, I'll be on the board too, and we can all build it together. And that's kind of the organic way of how it all happened. But that was 2000, and I think that was 2017 or 18, maybe that far back.
Yeah, 17, yeah.
Yeah, 17 when that happened. I think we were walking around Disney Springs, it may have been with your family, and we'd gone out to dinner, and you were talking about what your vision was in the upcoming year, and asked me at that time, and I said, yeah, okay. And so it kind of just, it went from there. So I might be one of the longest serving board members at this point.
Awesome.
You are.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
I am. Yeah.
That's really neat. So then you are probably good to speak on what it's like being a business that's in the British Chamber, and like kind of what the membership does for you, and kind of like the benefits package that's unique to our chamber.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is unique. And one of the challenges I was having as the executive director in related to really human resources, we had anywhere between 10 and 12 full-time employees, and anywhere from 20 to 30 contractors, coaches during a year. And we wanted to add more value to those contracts versus, an exchange for time and money.
Right.
I started to look into, what can we offer for retirement, what we can offer for health. And so we went down the traditional health route with some big business. And after a year of providing the employees, and we paid 50% of the premiums, I get a renewal notice, and it was a 37% increase. Which, yes. Calling saying, how is it that there's a 37% increase in this premium? First of all, I thought it was very expensive to begin with.
Right.
We're talking about $30,000 on our annual budget. And the answer was, well, one of your people dropped out, and so you're now below the quota, and therefore you have to pay a higher premium. Now that happened to be me. I went on my spouse's health insurance, and I said, and I literally said to the, and she was very nice, but I said, you're telling me that because I made a personal choice with my health provider, that the rest of the employees are gonna pay for it with a 37%.
Right.
She kind of said, well, yes. And so I sought another provider and went the same traditional route. Same thing happened a year later. High increase because we dropped. And I thought, there's got to be a better way to do this, because we're a small business in some respects. I said it was not, I wouldn't say a drain, but it was certainly a high price point for us, but it was also a high price point for the employees, and we weren't able to offer 1099. This is when Nick, so circa 2017, this is when Nick started developing these benefit packages. And I sat with him, and I think we were at Liam's one day or something like that, and we were sitting there, and you're showing me this, and I said, Nick,
no drinks involved.
I don't think so. No, it was definitely a cup of tea in the afternoon of a bar patio in Florida, sunny Florida. That was our happiest hour. But I remember you showing me what you were trying to construct, and I remember saying at that time, listen, if you could construct this and you could find a way to add some medical or telemed or whatever it's going to look like, we'll be interested. And there was a period of time, maybe 6 months, I might be off here, where you came back and said, okay, here's a benefit package that I'm thinking of putting together. And I did the math. And so we now can offer telemedicine to all of our, not just our employees, but our contractors too, as well as the other benefits. And we can do it at a third of the cost.
Wow.
And so we literally are saving approximately $20,000 a year, but still offering more, two more. Right. So we're offering telemedicine through this package. There's it's called the Legal Club, which is kind of your credit monitoring, etc. There's the roadside assistance, and when you think about, you package all these all together, the cost of that gets bigger and bigger. But Nick, somehow you've managed to keep this cost pretty relatively small, and certainly as a business, it saved us that $20,000. And so now we're offering these values. When I had Nick come in and present this to our staff at the time, And I believe it was Terry as well came and looked at these additional type of medical defined benefits plans. 4 or 5 of our employees at the time said, we're in. And so since that time, I know a few of them. In fact, I literally got on the weekend a text message from one saying, hey, what's the number for telemed? I think my wife needs it because it's available for their entire family.
Right.
And I said, oh, here it is. Just go and open the benefits PDF online. And 24 hours later, all sorted, and everything's fine. And I used it myself. So to move it forward a little bit, there was a period of time, I believe it was January of last year, super busy time at work. And I had a cold, and it was a real nasty cold. And I don't get sick too often. So Nick's like, well, call up the telemed.
Yeah.
I called up the telemed, and I wasn't sure what I was expecting, but literally I called up about 9 o'clock. I got the doctor at 1 o'clock. I had the prescription filled by the end of the day. And I didn't have to leave my office.
Right.
So
Awesome.
what would have been a possible 2-3 hours of me going, sitting, to go then and I didn't have to do any of that. So at a time like that, I felt like, oh my gosh, my time is my most valuable asset at that moment. We're in a critical time for our business. I can't leave the office. I didn't need to.
Right, it didn't interrupt you at all. Yeah.
So, and it all worked out. And many of our employees have had that same experience for minor ailments. They've been able to get within an hour to, at most, their prescriptions and the call with the doctor, and everything's taken care of. So, you look at this package and it's not offered by any other chamber. And as a business, I look at it and go, it's saving me money, a lot of money.
Right.
At a time like this where budgets are absolutely shot, we're at the end of fiscal years, beginning of fiscal years, we don't know what revenue's coming in, and we're looking to cut things. I think the easiest thing is to go, well, I'll just cut my medical or the health. And unfortunately, I may not be able to offer that. Well, here's an easy solution and a very, very affordable solution.
And it works, like you said, for the whole household, right? Like, so I know, Nick, you've talked about like the roadside assistance. You're not paying per car, right? It's all the cars.
That's the other unique thing. Every company that I negotiated with, I started off by saying, I need the package that's good for the whole household, and I need it that's good in all 50 states. So if you go on vacation to Boise, Idaho, or whatever, right? Even if you've got medical insurance, if you go, if you feel sick on vacation, you've got 2 choices. You go to the ER, or you go to one of these Centracare or Merticare places. Well, your copay alone is probably between 75 and 150 bucks. And you've still got to sit there with a load of sick people and wait for that. Now, so you can use the telemedicine, even if, for that thing. The other thing that obviously with the benefit package for Laura's staff is a lot of her coaches are all 1099s. So what I did this year was that in the tax, we do a tax service that's a full 1040, but it also includes a Schedule C now.
Oh, okay.
So even if you were using TurboTax, that's a minimum of 120 bucks to get Schedule C done. So it's just when you actually add everything together, and in fact on the website under the benefits pad, we've actually just put a new screenshot on there, and there's a comparison of some of the other companies like Legal Shield and LifeLock and AAA and those people on how much they charge for their family plans. It's great. I mean, the city of Apopka, they adopted it for all their staff because they saw it as a benefit. And they didn't need the telemedicine part of it, but they needed everything else. So, they've adopted it there. We've obviously, Orlando City Youth Soccer uses it. The managers all over at 4 branches of Tijuana Flats use it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, because it's a bundle of stuff that you're going to use one of them every year.
Right.
If not more. And then we recently added in an entertainment card.
Oh, yeah.
Our Christmas party, Katrina, She took a couple of days off after that. She rings me up and says, "Am I doing this right?" And I went, "Oh, let's have a look." So we went on, and she was getting 2 tickets to SeaWorld. And she had her screen up and our page up. And she actually saved herself just shy of $99 for 2 tickets to SeaWorld using the entertainment card.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've got, you know, the annual passes to Disney are on there, Florida residents. But, you know, you're saving, I think it was like $39 a ticket. If you've got a family of 4, it's, it's 160.
That adds up. Yeah.
So
you know who else benefits from it? And Amy, I think I've shared some of my famous stories. My cats.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I've used the pets for like it helped guide me to first, like, you know, you go to the listing of like what vets, you know, accept it, and I ended up getting like 2 free exams for like new patients. So my cats got so I saved like $200 right there.
I had to put one of my cats on a diet. He had a surgery at Christmas, and he was recommended. Now he was 15. No, before the surgery he was 18.5 pounds. After the surgery he was 15, but he was still, you know, he's a little bigger. He's big boned. Right. But it's still recommended a special food. So when I looked at the special food, it was something like $104 to get it. And
how big of a bag is it?
Or is
it cans? Yeah,
it as well. I was thinking, I did math. I'm like, every 2 months I'm going to be paying $104.
Yeah.
I think it's PetRx. I went on. I got signed up, and I look at it, and I think it was $47 I paid for in the end. I know it was just less than. I ended up paying for the same. He's almost out actually. I probably have to get him more, but for me, that's $50.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 times a year I have to do that, and those things are expensive. Those diets, foods. So now Chester is able to have his food, his diet, and my wallet is a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. There's a whole big selection of stuff on there, and you know, we've had people calling up and saying, you know, that stuck in a ditch, and the towing service was great. They were straight there, pulled them out, no co-pays, no charges, nothing. So you know, and then the legal services, you know, I mean, we hopefully don't need a lawyer, but I think everybody should have a will and a living will, but we do those for nothing. Now, I mean, several years ago, we put together our wills, and that was with someone that I knew, and that was $1,800.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, obviously they're going to be the fairly simple standard wills,
right?
But even so, you know, you go on to any of those services, they're going to charge you $500.
Right.
So you know they get that, and they'll do an annual update for you.
Oh,
just in case one of the cousins pisses you off and you want to cut them out.
That's it. Out.
Yeah, I know. It's like I need to get on that legal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and you get the free first consultation face to face.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Per case, not per year. So
if I have a business contract that needs to be looked at, will they look at that?
Yeah, there's 1,100 forms on there. There's all different stuff. Yeah, so cool. Definitely go and talk to them.
Okay, very cool. Nice. So I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to say about the British Chamber?
Well, I certainly think if you're a business, especially now, if you are a business and you're going through your budget next year, take a look at this benefit package, especially if you've got 1099s and you want to add benefits that nobody else does. It can give you an advantage. I know for me in our industry, it gives us a little advantage because no one else is really thinking about it.
That's true.
It's very much, you know, 1099s are stipends and that's it. But we're offering this. And so for most, it's like, oh, that's a nice to have. Right. It's very inexpensive. Nick, I don't know how you put it all together for such, I mean, the cost is so inexpensive for what it is.
The full benefits of everything. The Premier is $25.95 a month.
Right.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
And that's what we offer to all of that. So if you're a business, take a look and absolutely call Nick.
Yes. Yeah, I'll make sure to tag you and put you in the Facebook comments so people can start bombarding you.
Yeah, and even if you don't have a business and you've got a fat cat, Get them
Right.
some pet
Yeah,
food.
exactly. Yeah, even if you're not a business, but you want it for yourself, you can get it for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and businesses that have a decent amount of employees, that if they join up, we actually put their logo on the website. So
Okay.
you get so the business owner actually gets some kudos, if you like, and some publicity. And obviously we welcome them, with uh, Facebook posts and stuff like that. So again, it's building that community.
Right. And yeah, I would say I can speak as just a regular member. It's not like I have employees that I've got benefits for. But as a regular member of the British Chamber, I have a British American Chamber. I would say that it's I'm parts of other networking organizations as well, and I like each of them for in different ways. But I really enjoy just how supportive the British American Chamber has been, and you're always more than willing to help with Facebook posts, email blasts, whatever, help get whatever the news is about businesses. You're trying to help them get it out there. So just really supportive of businesses when it comes to the networking type or the networking part of the organization.
Yeah, and we're having. I think that as long as Mr. DeSantis, Governor DeSantis, doesn't say anything untoward at 5 o'clock, I think that our first big event and our reopen will be on the June 29th. We've got a small business expo.
Right.
So we should hear definitively in a couple of weeks about that. But what a great way of getting your business out there, and I think people will be itching to get out and get back to work and get back to, not only socializing, but getting their business out there. It's not all gonna big floodgates open, but I think that everybody's gonna need help. We've been doing Zoom conferences, we've been doing Zoom meetings, and I think it's the important thing is that when we get out of this crisis, is that we're going to have a very tightly knit unit of companies within the chamber, and all willing to help each other, all willing for the advancement of the business community. And I think that's the main game of what we're going to be doing over the next 6 to 9 months to the end of the year, certainly, is that every single time we get together, there'll be an absolute purpose to it. There'll be a meaning to it. So everybody will get something out of it. We can all arrange a drink up at a different time.
Right.
But that when people get together, they've been very stressed over the last couple of months. If they've got their own business, they're doubly stressed. There's probably 1 million people in the greater Orlando area that are out of work.
Right.
And the numbers are staggering. So we need to get people's confidence back. I think we need to let them know that everybody's in the same boat, but we're here to help everybody. And the more people that you can help, and make sure that Orlando moves forward in the right way. And I think that everybody's very strong on that. And I think that maybe one thing that this has shown us is that selfishness is not the right way. Teamwork is the right way, and building things together. Competition's great, I think, because it builds what you're trying to do. And I think that the more that people see that and learn from it, and I think there's always silver linings come out of all the crises that you've seen, and I think that it makes bonding friendships are stronger for it. And I think the business acumen of what we're trying to do is paramount, and I think that's what we're going to win.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because the economic darkness after the health crisis is what we've got to try and avoid.
Yeah, and we can do more together.
Yep. Everybody can do it. The teamwork is paramount.
Yep.
Right.
Agreed.
Yes, I agree too. So we've gotten pretty serious. Now I want to know. Laura, we'll start with you. I want to know, what is your special interest, hobby, or obsession that like is your thing or like you're known for?
Oh my gosh.
Or maybe
I am a number nerd. I'm an absolute
nerd. Really?
Yeah, I'm a number nerd. I am absolutely potty about personal finance and budgets and cash flow statements.
Really?
Yeah, I know. People are like, oh, that's terrible. Budgets? No one wants a budget.
Yeah.
I want a spending plan, and I'm the one that goes, spending plan. I'll put together a spending plan. Let's look at your numbers, Excel formulas, and QuickBooks Online. I'll do it. I get really excited about math and projecting the future of forecasts. So I know that's not the answer you might have thought.
No, yeah. But are you good at it in your head then? Like, do you do mental math well, or is it all in the?
Yeah. My family are quite mathematic. My uncle is a mathematician, and he's a professor of it. And my mum was a computer programmer before she had children.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, there's a lot of good math in and my brother is very quick. I'm very quick, but you give me a spreadsheet, and Excel or Access, I am all over it.
And what did you study in college? Because I know you went for soccer.
Actually, my undergrad's in exercise science, but my graduate is a master of business administration, which is a little bit more fitting, really, to my my developed nerdiness. So I'm the number nerd.
So are you trying to find some numbers to play with when you're not working? Like,
I'm always
budgets or things.
we have a budget breakfast every payday. So we sit and go through budget breakfast and what we spent and what we're going to what's next. And we have a spreadsheet and we have a net worth spreadsheet, and we take a look at what we spent on various categories in the past month. And then we do this and say we drank too much wine. We spent too much on beer, and then we're like, okay, for the next month we're going to do this, and we kind of come up with our plan, and we get all excited when we're going to put money into savings or into an investment. And so that's kind of one of my things. And then the other is Lego.
Legos.
Lego.
Oh my gosh. Okay, tell me more.
I might have some here. No, it's from my childhood. Maybe I was supposed to be an architect or an engineer, I don't know. But I had this big box of random Legos, and I would always create things. And now I have a little Big Ben in my other room, and I have the Tower of London also to construct. My mum.
Oh, nice.
I'm in my 40s, and one of my birthday gifts was Lego recently. So there am I, kind of just putting my Lego together. I'll have to send you a picture of Big Ben.
Absolutely.
If I'd known you were going to ask me that question, I'd go and get them.
Oh man,
that's
really fun.
Wheel as well. So when I can, I'm the kid at Disney Springs at the Lego shop.
Okay, yeah,
with the
that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, people are probably like, why is there an adult sitting there? And I'm like,
right.
Lego.
Oh my gosh. So I have a friend who used to work for Lego, or Merlin, like does Legoland, Legoland or whatever, runs it. And he was in charge, or some of his projects were designing the big sculpture type things, like the big Legos were gonna be outside the store. So he did designed those, and he did some for like the Legolands in Tokyo and whatever else, and did a big giant moose head to go on the wall of their studio space. It's all out of Legos.
I would love
it
that.
Sounds like something you would love to do.
Yeah, my retirement job's just going to be playing with Lego. That'll be that person. Oh yeah, Laura's in the shed again building a Lego.
That's so good. All right, Nick, now you're up. What's your special interest?
I don't know if I can beat Lego.
Oh, come on. That's not bad.
Well, I'm a big lover of English football.
Okay.
So I follow a lot of that. So I'm heavily into sports. Obviously, I've got the kids and grandkids and stuff like that. So obviously, a lot of family stuff. But I'm also I was telling Laura earlier that I just finished a course on it, but I'm a big Churchill fan. And you know, and exactly how his philosophies and his life. I mean, absolutely fascinating character.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we talk about speech writers and stuff like that. Well, apart from one speech, he wrote all his own speeches.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was learning that he actually wrote the speech in 1940,
Mm-hmm.
telling the British people that, in fact, they'd been invaded. He had it in his back pocket just in case, after the Battle of
Yeah,
Britain,
yeah.
the Germans invaded England.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you know, he's done what a full life. I mean, he entered into Parliament when he was 26 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he was that young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and before that, he'd been a captain in the army,
Mm-hmm.
a captain or a lieutenant, something like that, in the army. He'd already fought in 3 wars before he was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was fought in Afghanistan. He
Mm-hmm.
fought in the Boer War and in the Sudan.
Oh wow.
So there was a, you know, so you know, he was quite an old man at 26.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously, you know, then he sort of went into the wartime in 1940.
Mm-hmm.
And the day that basically the war finished, they voted him out of power.
Mm.
And then back in 1951, he got back in again. So
Yes.
weird.
Remarkable.
Yeah,
Remarkable.
I mean, some of the stuff that he's done. I mean, so I find that very fascinating.
And have you always been fascinated by him, or was there
Yep.
like a certain thing that triggered it? No, you always.
No, not really. I
Yeah.
mean, my parents were both teachers, and you know, I remember actually watching the state funeral in 1965
Oh wow.
of Churchill. And I mean, there isn't very many state funerals in England.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, it's saved for royals,
Okay.
saved for kings and queens, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Churchill's was, you know, it was like the streets were actually packed.
Yeah.
Wow.
But no, I was just fascinated by the guy himself. I mean, he didn't give a damn. And you know, there's one scene from a film of him having breakfast with the king, and he's got a great big cigar and a bottle of champagne. That's his breakfast. And
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
listen, I mean, you can't be English if you haven't read anything about Churchill. I mean, Churchill was a master painter. He wrote 50 books. As
Oh
as
wow.
well as yeah, I mean, he didn't have a spare minute in his 90 years. So,
Yeah.
you know, someone to look up to. And I mean, he was, some of his writings are very deep.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so I mean, I'm interested in, you know, most sports, and he's just one character that you know, I'm fascinated by.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's where, you know, I like you know, I like learning stuff. I think that if you can go through life that every day you've learned something,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to have a fairly rich life.
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and you know, there's no you can idle. I mean, you know, like Laura. I mean, you know, I have a budget, and too much red wine is generally in it. But you know, what are you going to do? You know, you can't be a hermit monk all your life. So no, I think education is it's, I don't know, again, a bit philosophical, but it's the betterment of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just got to keep on learning. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and, I remember between the ages of 50 and 60, I took an exam every year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, I did my sports management degree, and then I did an MBA as well. But I also did all my coaching exams for the NSCAA. So I've got a Premier
Oh.
coaching license. We did the Director of Coaching diplomas,
Okay.
but then I got all my financial exams as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a learning experience, because I think the time that you stop learning
Mm-hmm.
is the time you start dying,
Mm.
because you're not using your brain.
Right.
And I think that's you know, people say to me, when are you going to retire? I went, never. What's retirement? And when retirement is not sitting on a porch in a rocking chair dying. It
Right.
doesn't appeal to me. You know, I mean, I think that there's something you can always be giving something or learning something or helping something. You know, and I just sitting idle just doesn't do it for me. That's why the last 2 months has been absolutely horrible.
Oh, painful, I imagine.
Yeah, it was going insane. That was the biggest. I wasn't worried about catching the bloody disease. I was more worried about going insane. You know?
Yeah, so
I think
people
that's
are
why
getting serious cabin fever.
you and I are good friends, Nick. We don't sit still. We're always trying to, what's next? What's next?
What's
And
next? How are we going to change stuff? So you've got, you know, now we've got this. Well, I've always been of the way of going. Nothing ever stands still. You're either going backwards or you're going forwards. You're not standing still. So there's no such thing as, oh, I'm happy with this. No.
Right.
So you've got this. We've built it. I mean, our board meetings, as you know, how can we better it now?
Right.
What's next? Where do we want to be at the next level? And it's like there's a marketing strategy called Blue Ocean. I know Laura and I have spoken about this. Is that, well, the analogy is if you take the retail industry in America, you've got Kohl's and Penny's and Macy's and Dillard's. Well, they're all taking lumps out of each other for the same customer base. So they're creating a red ocean of turmoil. But if you value innovate, you can lift yourself up into this blue ocean of calm. It doesn't matter what your competitors are doing, you will be good. But the trouble is that the blue ocean only lasts for so long, depending on the product. So once you get in there, now you've got to be, so you've got to the level of 101. As soon as you get there, you've got to be thinking about level 2. Because you've got to stay ahead of the competition on a constant basis.
Right.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
Amy, are you going to disclose something about you then? It's only fair.
Oh, well, I figure everyone knows about it.
The Anglophile?
I might be a little choppy, but I mean, the flag behind me is, you know, a little hint to one obsession.
You like flags?
Yeah, I love flags. This is just the flag of the day. Yeah, so let's see. I like to think of like, what am I known for? Like, what do people tag me on Facebook for or text me out of the blue, people I haven't heard from in forever? So one is obviously England and tea and like British royalty. There's like 3 things, but they're all in one. The other one is I'm known for being the queen of Christmas. I love Christmas, like decorations, music, all of it. Very festive. Awesome. And then I'm also known for being a Hanson fan. As in, yep, that Hanson from '97. Whoops, bop. Yeah. They are still around. I don't know when we'll get another live concert at this rate, but yeah, it's always general admission and you're all like stuck side by side. There's not chairs or anything. So some of my friends have been joking that they would love to have a social distancing Hanson concert where like everyone has to be 6 feet apart. So I'd say those are my main things. I'm sure someone will comment and be like, you forgot about this obsession. I'm known for having obsessions. That's what it is. But thank you for asking.
You're welcome. It's only fair. It's only right you disclose.
Yes, I know. That's
embarrass you as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I think we'll wrap it up, and you guys can go see what the governor's been talking about for the last half hour. But thank you so much for being on. Again, this is Laura Halfpenny.
We'll get there.
Nick Browns. And I'm Amy Mitchell with Houses of Windsor, and all 3 of us are representing the British American Chamber of Commerce today, also known as the BACC, and we will put all the contact info and stuff in the notes. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right, have a great one.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good night.
Bye.